It appears indicted U.S. House Republican Representative George Santos now becomes the sixth lawmaker in history to be expelled from chamber. Let's bring in the CBC's Richard Madden. He's tracking this breaking news story, moving fast, Richard.
Yeah, Speaker Johnson didn't even wait for all the votes to finish, and this is a remarkable, historic vote. The calculation, 300 to 114. By my math, 105 Republicans voted to expel George Santos, making him the sixth member of Congress to be expelled in U.S. history. And as we've been saying all morning, he joins a pretty exclusive, dubious club. Three other congressmen who were expelled for treason because they supported the Civil War. George Santos is now expelled. He hasn't been convicted of a crime, although he faces several indictments. So this is a stunning and historic vote by the U.S. House of Representatives. I think we have some sound of House Speaker Mike Johnson moments ago.
Sir, 311. The nays are 114, with 2 recorded as present. 2/3 voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted, and a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Yeah, what an absolutely stunning and surprising vote, to say the least. This morning, there appears to, the momentum appeared to have shifted somewhat, where a lot of Republicans who are on the fence whether to vote to expel George Santos appeared to agree with Santos's last-minute argument that because he hasn't been convicted of any crime, he shouldn't be expelled, and they felt that if he was, it would set a dangerous precedent. But apparently, the Republicans and members of the House all agreed, a majority agreed, to expel him. This is absolutely stunning. I believe all Democrats have voted to expel him, and they were joined by over 100 Republicans. So the short-lived chapter of Congressman Santos has come to a very abrupt and humiliating end.
And you know, Richard, we were going through, of course, the calculations that went into sort of making this in terms of the political ones, too. But of course, This is also a historic moment. So what actually happens next? Because a lot of us haven't witnessed something like this before.
Unless we've been around, several decades ago. Now, basically, the clerk seizes his congressional office. I just saw moments ago there was a swarm of cameras following George Santos leaving the Capitol as he went into his SUV and left. So Santos is gone. His congressional office is seized. I believe his constituency office remains open. And now the governor of New York has, I believe, 10 days to 2 weeks to call a by-election for Santos's seat in Long Island. And it's believed that the Democrats would likely flip that seat. And ultimately, that means the Republican majority gets ever slimmer. I believe they will now have a 2 or 3 seat majority in the House of Representatives. So the political calculations for a lot of Republicans, they thought, you know what, Santos is just too politically toxic for us. He's on his way out. As I said, this is just absolutely stunning, what we witnessed this morning. It's very historic. And ultimately, George Santos, who arrived in Congress just by a cloud of controversy, where it was later exposed he lied about his resume, he lied about his background, he lied about his finances, but it was this scathing ethics report that uncovered evidence that he stole donors' money to fund his personal expenses like his rent, Botox, designer clothes, and of course OnlyFans was just too much for many of his now former colleagues.
Thanks for walking us through that, Richard. A moment in political history in the U.S. That is the CBC's Richard Madden in Washington.